Imagine, if you can, that you're a time traveler. You travel back to ancient Rome during the reign of Emperor Nero in the year 64 AD. You find yourself in the Aegean Sea where it meets the Mediterranean on a rocky island called Patmos. It is a barren outcrop with few inhabitants except for criminals and exiles who have been banished to this island. You draw close to two men talking to each other. One leaves. The other engages you in conversation. He is a scribe by profession, a learned one. He has just written a long letter dictated to him by an old man. We'll let the writer explain.
Hello, stranger. I'm Apelles, the scribe. I come from Galatia, but lately Ephesus, where my friends, or I thought they were friends, had me arrested and thrown onto this island. What's that? With friends like that, who needs enemies? Quite right. Stick with me. I'll tell you who you can trust and who you need to fear, besides the guards. Why should you trust me? Smart, very smart. There is one person on this island, though, that you can trust. An old man, John from Galilee. He's one of those Christians. Yeah. You're right. They've been stirring up the empire. Then again, maybe it needs stirring up. But this John is a kind old man. He cares about everyone, even the guards. Let me tell you what he had me do. When I told him I was a scribe, he smiled and said good. I have a letter I want you to write for me. Who is he going to send it to? Good question. Like the guards would send it out in their post. But it was a strange and mysterious letter he had me write, filled with horrors of gigantic flying scorpions with deadly stingers, horsemen riding out to deliver death, destruction, and judgment upon the earth. And then a new day, one of no more death, sickness, or tears. But you know what I've been dwelling on lately? He claimed that his Lord, Jesus Christ, was written about in the stars. Up in the heavens, do you hear me? Ah. Here, the scroll is hidden over here for safekeeping. Let me show it to you. Here, let me unroll this thing. And right about, okay, here it is. It begins right here. It says, a great and wondrous sign appeared in the heavens, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars on her head. And she was pregnant and cried out in labor as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in the heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on his head. His tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that it might devour her child the moment it was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule the nations with an iron scepter. Her child was snatched up to God and to his throne. The woman fled into the desert, into a place prepared for her by God, where she might be taken care of for 1,260 days. I went to the old man, and I asked him, what was this sign that was up in heaven? And he asked me, what heavenly sign is there that is a woman? And I told him, Virgo. It's the only sign of a woman in the constellation. He said, right. So I asked him, well, what's with the 12 stars around her head? He said, that's the zodiac. They asked him about the sun and the moon. And he said that is the sun moving through its ecliptic, moving through the constellation. The moon is simply the moon being under her feet. So being clothed with the sun and with the moon under her feet, that means that Jesus Christ was born in the month of September, on the 11th day of the 24th year of Caesar Augustus.